back to my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be a reading thrillers for a week reading vlog. I love doing these like one genre for the whole week reading vlogs. I did a romance one a couple of weeks ago and loved it. I feel like it's just a really great way to get to some books that have been sitting on your physical TBR and kind of get absorbed into one genre. And I think it's a great way as well to kind of test out what you do and don't like within your favourite genres. So this week is obviously going to be thrillers. I'm very much feeling like in my spooky season vibe. I'm in my autumn vibe already. It is still August, but hey, like mentally autumn, physically still in summer. I feel like I have also not done a reading vlog in so long because I've just not been reading like a lot of books per week, so there was not really anything to like film. I've just been in almost, I feel like we can call it a little bit of a reading slump. I've been reading quite slowly, not picking up books very often during the week, so I'm excited to kind of get back into the swing of it, get back to reading all of the fun books that I have on my TBR, because this TBR isn't going to read itself, am I right? Please do let me know as well if you have any ideas for these kind of reading vlogs. If you want me to read like a certain genre for the week, let me know in the comments, because I think they're so fun and I would love to do some more. So in terms of the books on my radar for this week, it is Monday today. We're going to read up until Sunday. I don't really have too many thrillers on the actual physical TBR. Like the thrillers on the TBR, it's kind of a sad, it's kind of like there's nothing, there's not much there, it's not giving. I need to get some more thrillers, I need some more thriller recs, I need to invest in some more, because I am kind of delving into that genre a lot more recently and I am enjoying it a lot more. But because I've only just started reading thrillers recently again, I've not got many. I have got 3 on my TBR. We also have like Kindle Unlimited, of course, so that's like great because there's so many on there. But on my actual one, these are the only physical thrillers I own, which is kind of crazy, and I need to get more because I'm really loving them. So we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This one is very popular, I've heard, and it's about a woman who goes to like vacation on like her lake holiday home, and across the lake is a new couple in their lake house, and they seem really glamorous and fun on the outside, but when she's kind of looking through her window like at their house, she has like a perfect view and they're getting up to some weird creepy stuff, which sounds like such a fun time. Then I have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This one I think is about sisters and there was a disappearance and then another teenage girl is now missing, so they're kind of going back through it, like who is doing this, why, all that kind of thing. And I do love like a bit of a mystery type thriller, and this one as well seems to be like quite crazy and quite wild, which I was like, sign me up, immediately order. But can we just talk about like this cover? For me, like I hate the cover, I really hate the cover, because it's just giving like, when you think of a thriller, why is this every single thriller cover? It's like dark colour and then a random image on the front. Like I'm not obsessed. I am however obsessed with how Riley Sager's covers are looking right now. I think he's like redesigned a few and I just think that they're so much nicer than that. But this one is a little bit more of a chunky one, so don't know if I'll get to that one. And then last but not least, I have House of Horror by Crystal Sutherland. I have already started this one. I'm 124 pages into it, so we're pretty far into it. And this one is about 3 sisters who went missing when they was younger, and then they returned a month later completely unscathed, completely fine. And no one knows who took them, why they took them, what happened during this time. And now it's years later and one of the sisters has gone missing again, so the other 2 are trying to find out why, what, who. It's another kind of like mystery again, like Pretty Girls, but this one so far has had like a bit more of a witchy vibe going on to it, I feel like. So if you're into that, it's definitely giving like a great spooky season rec. And then on my radar on Kindle, any kind of Freida McFadden books. I love her thrillers. Definitely One by One by her, because that one seems like it's going to be so like keep me guessing, keep me on the edge of my seat, and that is the feeling that I love when reading a thriller. Also on Kindle Unlimited, I might give a John Mars book a go, because back in lockdown I read The One by John Mars, and this was back in my era of like not reading. I just picked up a book because I was like, guess I've got nothing else to do, guess I'll just pick up this random book. And I used to go onto like Amazon and just search like top 10 best-selling books of the month, and just whatever would come up I'd be like, guess that's a good one, and I'd just buy it. Those were kind of the good old days. Like why did I kind of find like really good book recommendations by doing that? But yeah, I read The One, and I've never read a book like it. It's honestly the best thriller I've ever read. If you need a thriller to read, pick up that book because it's crazy. There's so many plot twists, so many POVs, and yeah, I just try to get everyone I know to read that book because it was so good at the time, and I just remember loving it. And this is coming from someone who didn't read at the time, so to have a book like capture my attention like that, you know it's good. And a lot of his books are on Kindle Unlimited right now, so I might give one of his a go. Maybe we will revisit John Mars. I'm kind of setting myself a bit of a high TBR for this week. Clearly I've got like so many on my radar. Might have to do like a part 2 of this sometime soon. But yeah, so the first book for the week is going to be House of Hollow, because I have already started it, and I'm hoping to finish this one today. Honestly, I think we could. It's very short, and so far I am enjoying it. It's definitely a lot different to what I expected, and it's nothing like I've ever read before. It's kind of got like a very witchy magical realism element to it, and it feels quite whimsical and creepy and eerie and weird, and there's so much stuff going on that kind of doesn't make sense, and that it doesn't feel real life like a murder mystery thriller usually does. And there's lots of like descriptive elements, but that things are described very like gross, and sometimes I'm like reading it and I'm like, ugh. But yeah, so far so good. I think it's kind of sitting at like a 3-star currently, just because it's not my usual style of thriller that I would kind of reach for. It's definitely a little bit on the more strange side, and there's like a few things where I'm just like, this seems a little bit unrealistic. And I'm not saying like thrillers have to be realistic, of course, but like this seems like not even real life. Like it feels like, if you know what please tell me that you know what I'm trying to say. Like this feels like impossible, and it feels a little bit strange, and I'm kind of confused at times, and sometimes I feel like we jump a little bit and I'm like, where did we get, like how did we get here? But it does at the same time keep you on your toes, and I feel like I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I definitely want to read on and find out what's happened and why these people are going missing. And I like the sister element, because you're kind of getting like the different personalities of each sister, which is also interesting. And it's also quite interesting as well how they went missing and came back completely not like themselves. They're like, something is amiss, something is very wrong, and it's got that very creepy, eerie element to it, and I do think that is quite fun to read. But yeah, if you are looking for like a thriller that's very witchy, very otherworldly kind of vibe, then this is probably the one for you. It definitely screams like October, Halloween. So I'm going to read a little bit more, hopefully finish it today, and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings. But so far I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's just a little bit weird. It says here, this haunting modern fairy tale. That kind of sums it up. Supernatural, that is the word I was looking for. It's very supernatural. Maybe not magical realism, maybe it's like more like supernatural type of vibes. It's very strange. I've not heard a lot of people talk about it either, so let me know if you've read this one. I am the scaredest person ever at horror films and like thriller films, and I will not watch them, and I get so scared and I always cover my ears and cover my eyes. But with a thriller book, weirdly I'm like completely fine. I feel like I could read like a thriller book at night and be fine, but just put a scary film on any time of day, broad daylight, and I'm terrified. This book feels really trippy, like that's the word that I was trying to think of before. It feels like there's just so much going on to the point where you're like, what? Like literally what am I reading right now? It feels like quite confusing to decipher like the different things, and honestly I've like not been able to guess anything. Like I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Like it is so unrealistic, but I guess that's the point. Yeah, it's kind of got like a bit of like, what's the word, like old folklore type stuff. That's probably not right. Like it's got like an old, like, I literally don't know what I'm trying to say right now, but it just feels really trippy. Like it feels like confusing and definitely not realistic. So if you're not in the mood for, if you prefer like the usual type of thriller and you're not really into this kind of thing, then give it a miss, because it is honestly a little bit random. I'm kind of enjoying it a little bit more now. We're at the last 90 pages ish, and I feel like I'm kind of a bit hooked on it now. Like now we're getting to the end, I'm a bit like, oh wait, I want to know exactly what's happened. Like I don't want to put this book down, so I'm going to binge the end and then I'll get back to you. Last night I finished House of Horror by Crystal Sutherland, and I think I'm gonna rate it like a solid 3 stars, but like a good 3 stars. Like I would recommend this book. I think it was good, but definitely you need to be like in the specific mood for this kind of book. Like if you like more of like a supernatural, unrealistic, fairy tale-esque thriller, then definitely give this one a go. But if you it's hard because like it's just not like anything I've ever read before. I have nothing to compare it to. Like honestly, I have nothing to compare this to. It just felt so random and unrealistic and crazy. Like there was so many random things going on. It just felt like a dark fairy tale, if I could compare it to anything. I think that I would say, like, if you've read Bunny by Mona Award, is that the right author? I think so. If you've read that book, then it gave me the same level of confusion as I felt reading Bunny. They're not the same at all, the story's not the same, but I felt the same level of like, what is going on when reading it. It was super descriptive, super whimsical, super dark and fairy tale-esque, and I didn't honestly guess anything that was going on because it felt super hard to guess anything, because there was that many random things going on that you just would never expect to see in real life, that it made it very hard to predict the plot twist, which I do enjoy because like I was never bored. I was never sat thinking like, oh, kind of predict what's going to happen. Like I never felt like that. It just felt like, what am I reading right now? I was like, what is this? What is this? But it felt very dark. It felt very like spooky. And I would say it is the perfect short, quick, easy book to read in October. It gives like Halloween vibes, very spooky. And honestly, like a lot of the terminology and how things were described was so like grotesque. Like it was very like, oh, like this is giving like gross, like very, very, very descriptive. And I'm not sure that I would say it was like thriller vibes. It didn't really feel like I wasn't sat there like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like it was more just like we're following these girls along this crazy random, like we've gone down a rabbit hole like Alice in Wonderland. It felt like we were just following them along the way as they discover things. They're trying to find out what's happening, but it didn't feel like how a thriller normally reads, where you kind of sat on the edge of your seat and you're like, oh, I don't know who to trust. Like I don't know who this person is. Oh, it didn't feel like that. It just felt like we're following these girls along on a completely random, weird fairy tale vibe mystery, and that's kind of what it gave me. So yeah, it definitely didn't give me like super thriller vibes. And I know I said earlier that it didn't read too YA, but then I was kind of reading on a little bit and I was like, it does kind of read a little bit YA. But saying that, then a lot of things were very dark and very like, oh, like that is super dark. So kind of like on both sides with the YA scale. Would I read another book by Crystal Sutherland? I think yeah, because I had a good time, and I think if I'm ever in the mood for this kind of vibe again, then I know where to look, because yeah. And I do think I will read The Invocations, maybe like in the future. But above all, this book are 3 stars. I would recommend if you're looking for a short, random, whimsical thriller that is just not like anything else, then this is definitely the book for you. I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking, it's definitely not the best book I've ever read, because I was confused quite a lot of the time, but yeah, it was still a fun time, it was still enjoyable, and I would recommend. Now we are on to the next thriller book. So it's Tuesday now, and I've started The House Across the Lake this morning by Riley Sager. I am 50 pages in, so I'm literally not going to say anything because we've barely scratched the surface. High hopes for this one, and this is the one that I'm most anticipating in this entire video. Like, I'm so excited for this. I feel like we've gone from this, which is completely not my vibe, to this, which I feel like I'm going to eat up, and I feel like it's going to keep me on the edge of my seat, which is what I'm feeling. I'm going to go to work now. I'm going to do some reading later, and I will get back to you. Hands up if you don't want to go to work and you just want to be cozy all day and read your book. Me. But I can't. Just over here chilling. It is like nighttime and I'm so tired, like my eyes are shutting on their own. But just a little update of House Across the Lake. I am obsessed. Like, I can't put it down. Like, another chapter ends and I'm just like, ooh, maybe we should start another chapter, maybe we should start like just one more chapter, and then it's like I was gonna say 20 chapters later, it's like 5 chapters later, and I'm like, oh, we're still going. Also, the chapters are super short, so I'm loving that as well, and it's really keeping me guessing. It's very like, we're getting little clues here and there. It's very mysterious, very creepy vibes, and I'm just like, I don't want to put it down. I really like Riley Sager's writing style. It's my first book by him and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm gonna call it a night because I'm so tired. Morning. It is Thursday morning and I just thought I'd do a quick check-in point with you guys because yesterday I went out all day. I went shopping with my boyfriend and literally didn't read a single page. We had a long day because I went to pick up my house keys for my second year uni house as well. So it was just like a whole day of being out and I didn't get to read at all. So today we're definitely gonna read a lot because I'm behind schedule in my mind of where I want to be, like in terms of why can I not ever speak when I turn the camera on? I'm behind schedule in my mind of like where I realistically want it to be so I can read like for the rest of the week, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to be a bit further into this book so that I can read another book comfortably this week without rushing. So we're gonna read quite a bit today because it is Thursday, obviously, so yeah. But I really am enjoying this book. I'm now, I think, how many pages? I'm 101 pages into this book and it's definitely like a fun time. I'm really enjoying it and I'm really excited to just kind of like sit. I mean, I literally can't sit and binge this book. Like I have to get ready for work soon. Guys, please, like, you know when you just want to binge a book and you have to go to work? No, it's not for me. But we have to get ready for work soon, but I'm gonna like sit, read as much as I can of this book, and then this afternoon I'm gonna come home from work. I'm hoping that the weather like turns really cozy vibes because it's quite like sunny right now, so I'm kind of hoping it like just chucks it down and I can just get into bed and read this book and binge it, and I'm really excited. I don't know if we're gonna finish it today because I'm quite a slow reader, but if we don't finish it today then we definitely will finish the last little chunk tomorrow and then start a new book tomorrow. So that is the vibe, that is my little check-in. And yeah, I have finished work now, so I'm back reading my book. I just wanted to say how much I literally love short chapters. Like, this book has some fairly short chapters quite frequently, and why does it just make the reading experience so much better? Like, honestly, even though I'll probably end up reading the same amount of pages whether it was a long chapter or a short chapter, just the satisfaction of like finishing a short chapter and then just starting a new chapter feels so much more satisfying than a really long chapter. I don't even know why, but I just absolutely love short chapters. Like, give me them all. It should be like a rule in books, seriously. Also, in the story we have kind of hit like a bit of a mystery element to it, and I quite enjoy that. We're trying to like find some things out. It's very like detective-y, very mystery, and I'm trying to like figure out what's going on in my own head. I'm probably so wrong with my theory, but we'll see if I'm right. I've got my theory. I'll say if I'm right at the end. I'm probably not, but hey, I could be. But yeah, I have just been sat here and I've been drinking my iced coffee and I've been eating some chocolate biscuits because everyone needs like a chocolate biscuit or 10 every once in a while, do you know what I mean? I have officially finished The House Across the Lake and here are my thoughts on it. So I think I'm gonna rate this one a solid 4 stars, nothing less, nothing more, just a 4 stars. I felt like this was a really great thriller and it definitely kept me on my toes throughout like the whole thing. Like when I said in the other clip, oh, I think I know what's happened, like I'll let you know if I'm right, I wasn't right. I was not right, as per usual. I am pretty much 9 times out of 10 never right when I guess the thriller plot twist, but at least I have fun trying, am I right? So yeah, a solid 4 stars. I felt like it was good. I liked the setting and I liked how the characters were written. I felt like that it was all done very well and definitely was a great first impression of Riley Sager's writing. I really want to try some more of his books, so if you have a favourite, please let me know because I would love to get around to that one soon. But yeah, I felt like how he writ the lake and the houses around the lake was very atmospheric. I felt like I could picture it exactly. I felt like I could exactly picture the lake and the exact people, and I could picture everything really well, which I think really helps in thrillers because it feels like a movie going on in your head. That's how I would describe it. It felt like I was watching a movie and I can still remember like every detail as if I've like watched it. However, there was like a bit at the end which kind of caught me off guard, and obviously like when you describe in thrillers you can't really say too much, so I don't want to spoil anything, but there was something that happened at the end that I was just a bit like did not see this coming and I'm really confused. You know when it just seems like I didn't realise that it was this type of book? I was a little bit like thrown off guard, is that what the saying is? Like I was just like, this seems a little bit silly. I felt like it was a little bit random is what I'm gonna say. It felt very random and it definitely didn't feel like we was going in that direction. I didn't feel like Riley Sager's writing and Riley Sager's books were like that. I didn't know they would include that kind of element and I was a bit like, okay. Not sure if this feels too realistic or like this would actually happen. But with that being said, I do feel like this is going to be a great book to read now that the spooky season is approaching. And out of this one and House of Hollow, which by the way, reading House of Hollow genuinely feels like that was years ago. Why has this week gone so slowly? But yeah, out of the two so far in this video, definitely go for this one. House of Hollow and this one was definitely my favourite and a lot better. I felt a lot more fleshed out, it made a lot more sense and it really did keep me on the edge of my seat. Like I wasn't able to guess any of the plot twists and I just wanted to keep reading. I love how short the chapters are and I love how I was just sat there and I was like I think it was like 10 p.m. and I really was getting tired, but I wanted to keep reading and the plot twist kept on coming and I was like, I was actually audibly like, if there was a camera in my room, that would be very humbling. But yeah, I literally had like chills down my spine, and I was like, oh my god, I did not guess this at all. And like, yeah, I really had a fun time with it, and I'm really glad that I started with this one out of all of the books that he has released, because yeah, I thought it was a really fun time, and I do highly recommend this one. So now that I have finished that one, we're going to start one final thriller for the week, because that's all I have time for. Yeah, and I am really fancying a Frida McFadden book. I mean, I feel like she is the thriller version of Colleen Hoover, where like a lot of people tend to get into reading romance through Colleen Hoover's books, and they kind of start there. So I personally feel like Frida McFadden is the thriller version. Like, I feel like a lot of people, if they're not romance readers, or they just don't really like that genre and they want to read thrillers, and they've like not read much before, I feel like Frida McFadden is the one that people kind of go to first, me included. I definitely read one of her thrillers when I got back into that genre, when I got back into reading thrillers and stuff. I would say she's definitely the equivalent to Colleen Hoover's writing but thriller side of things. Please tell me, like, you know what I mean. I'm not saying that she is Colleen Hoover, and I'm not saying that like her books are the same as Colleen Hoover's, but just like in terms of getting people into reading, I feel like Frida McFadden is the most common one that people start with. Definitely like fully with reason, because her books are so easy and they're so fast-paced and fun. You're just always on the edge of your seat, like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? The plots are usually quite wild. So yeah, I do love a Frida McFadden book. I've read The Housemaid, The Housemaid's Secret, and The Housemaid is Watching. And I have also read The Teacher. I think that's all I've read by her. So the one that I really want to read next is One by One. I think that's what it's called. I think it's one of her older ones. But that's the one that out of all of the synopsises of her books stands out the most to me. Like, when I've heard people talking about her books, that one is the one where I'm like, ooh, I need to give that one a go. Because it is basically about, I think, 6 people who are going on like a week-long trip, kind of like glamping style thing. And they're all in a little minivan on their way there. And then the car breaks down and they kind of have to make their own way to the hotel. They have to hike through the woods, and obviously if you link it to the title you kind of know what I mean. But yeah, that one sounds so interesting to me. It sounds like super fast paced, so I'm going to start that one next. I'm going to go outside and read, and I'm really excited. So I'll update when I have some updates, obviously. I'm just going to hop on here as well, because I feel like I didn't explain what The House Across the Lake is even about. I feel like I said it at the very start of the video when I knew nothing, and then I just kind of said if I liked it or not, and I never really summed up what's going on. So I'm just going to say that real quick right now. So it basically follows a woman, this is obviously no spoiler, this follows a woman whose husband has died, so she's mourning him, and she's basically going through it. She's an actress, so she's in the public eye, and her mum's like, girl, you need to go to the lake house and chill. You need to just be out of the public eye, you need to mourn your husband, and you need to do it like without loads of stuff happening around you. So she obviously goes to the lake house. She's there for the summer, I guess, and she's going to be living there, obviously, to mourn her husband, just have some chill time, have some quiet time. And I think there's 5 houses on the lake, and across from her there's like the biggest one on the lake. It's like a massive one. It's really modern kind of vibes, and 2 new people have bought it. They've moved in, and those new people are like, they come off as like very rich, very glamorous, beautiful people. One of them's a model, one of them's like a rich businessman, and obviously from the outside they just look like a perfect couple. And she's across from the lake, so she has a perfect view into their house, and she starts to see some very questionable things going on. And obviously because she's there all summer, she's going to be able to get a front row seat to that. So that's all I'll say, but it was a really great plot. It was very interesting, but I just forgot to mention it the whole time I was reading it. So there you go, there's a little brief startup synopsis without giving too much away. 150 pages of One by One by Frida McFadden, which is the third and final thriller book in this video. And honestly, so far, like, I have not wanted to put this book down. Like, I have just wanted to sit and binge it, and I'm honestly hooked. I feel like so far, to say it's only like, I think it's under 300 pages. To say it's under 300 pages, you find out like a lot of info, but it doesn't feel like info dump. Like, I feel like I know these characters already, and there's so much drama. Like, there's so much drama. There's literally like, I'm not going to say too much because, yeah. But One by One basically follows a group of 6 people. I don't know if I explained this in the last clip, but it follows a group of 6 people who, their car breaks down in the middle of the woods and they're on their way to like this glamping vacation type situation. And the car breaks down, and because they're so close to where they're going, like the hotel or whatever, they kind of just think like, we'll just get out of the van and we're just gonna walk. We're just gonna walk to the hotel. It's not too far. We'll just walk through these woods, and obviously then it goes from there. And from that, like, so far, there's not been a moment where it's been like dull or slow. It's just constant like drama. And I'm loving it. Like, this might be the best Frida McFadden book I have read so far. Obviously, I've not read many, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think so far this is like on par with The House Across the Lake in terms of like how much I'm loving it, but it could even be better in my opinion. We'll have to see. I have now finished the final thriller for this video, One by One. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. One by One by Frida McFadden. And I'm gonna rate it a solid 4, either a 4 or 4.25, which I know is very specific, but I just can't decide. Because if House Across the Lake was 4 stars, then I don't know whether I preferred One by One more than this or not. No, I don't think I did. I think they're kind of equal. I think maybe even this one's bumped up to a 4.25 and One by One is a 4 star. Because I feel like this one had a bit more to it, a bit more depth. Whereas One by One was a little bit short, so there wasn't as much to say in that time frame, if you kind of know what I mean. But that being said, I did feel like One by One was very suspenseful. It was very quick and fast paced, and if you're in the mood for like a book that you can just kind of sit and almost binge in one sitting, then I do highly recommend choosing that one, because it keeps you guessing, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's almost simple and kind of formulaic, but like in a good way. Like, you kind of know what to expect. I mean, the title sort of says it all, but yeah, if you're looking for like a quick book to read, then definitely recommend this one. And it kept me guessing, it kept me entertained the whole way through. There was so much drama, and I feel like there wasn't a time where I was bored. And also, I didn't guess the plot twist. I thought that I did, and then I definitely didn't guess it. So it had a good plot twist. That's one thing about Frida McFadden's books that I feel like she does so well. She always puts in a plot twist at the very end where you're just like, oh, right, yeah. Every single time she seems to shock me. I do still prefer the second book in the Housemaid series. That's my favourite book by her so far. But this one was definitely a great read. It was very fun, very enjoyable, and I had a great time. I just love a plot twist. Like, in a thriller, when you get to the plot twist, it's just so fun. Like, it's usually so out of the range of what I expected or thought. I'm not very good at guessing the plot twists, but it's fine. I still have a great time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It is on Kindle Unlimited if you were wanting to read it. And I've had such a good time this week. So we have read House of Hollow, which was definitely something a bit different for me. It was kind of out of my comfort zone. It's definitely not something I would normally go for. It wasn't like my favourite thing ever. It was still fun, but would I go for this type of book again? Maybe not. I definitely preferred the other thrillers I read. I think this one's quite... it's just quite like fairy tale-esque type of thing, and that's not really my type of thriller. But it was still good, just a little bit unique, I would say. And then we read The House Across the Lake, which was the one that I was most anticipating in this video. I really enjoyed this one. Definitely going to read some more of Riley Sager's books because I feel like he's going to be such a author by author for me, and I'm here for that. Yeah, I had a great time with this one. Solid 4 stars. No, 4.25 stars. And then we read One by One by Frida McFadden, a quick, fast-paced, easy thriller. It kept me on my toes. I felt like it was very suspenseful, and I liked how we followed kind of like a group of people, and within the group obviously you get so much more drama because there's more people, and I felt like it was a solid 4 star. So we've had a great time this week. I'm definitely still in my thriller era. Like, I don't feel burnt out from reading just thrillers for the week. I could read another one right now. Like, I am loving thrillers. I think it's because it's getting like gloomy outside, and in my brain that's just like the perfect weather to read a spooky book. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any great thriller recommendations. I would love to hear them. And let me know if you have read any of these books and your thoughts on them. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!